The third decision is dividend decisions. Dividend decision is basically related with the decision in which we see how much amount from the profit we are going to distribute to the shareholder and how much amount we are going to retain for the future. See, as you all know, retained earning is basically cheapest source of finance. It doesn't involve any type of cost. So retained earning, what is retained earning? Whatever profit company is earning, that profit only company invest in further use in the further investment or use for a future purpose, that is known as a retained earning. Retained earning means the part of profit or means the profit which the company is earning, that profit only company is investing in the business. That is known as a retained earning, or that money only, that profit only the company is using for the future opportunities. Now, retained earning is the cheapest source of finance, and when we invest that money in the future, then there is a chance of grabbing the opportunities in the business and the growth of a business. So this decision is very much important. On the other hand, the profit which we are earning, that we have to distribute among the shareholder also, as the shareholder is a very important part of the business, and when the shareholder will be satisfied, then only the market share of the market price of the share will increase, and that is the most important objective of a financial management, to raise the market price. See, market price will increase when we satisfied our shareholder, and shareholder will get satisfaction when we give them more dividend. So they have to decide how much amount we should give it to shareholders so that shareholder get the satisfaction. On the other hand, how much amount we should keep for the future purpose, so that we get more and more profit. So there are many factors which affect the dividend decision. So dividend decision basically involves deciding how much amount of earning profit we are going to distribute among the shareholder and how much we are going to keep for the future. How much part should we keep as a retained earning and how much part of that profit we should distribute among the shareholders. That decision will take under the dividend decisions. Now come to the factors affecting dividend decisions. First factor is amount of earning. See, it's a very simple thing. If a company is earning more, then they can declare a higher dividend. And if the earning of company is less, then they can't declare a higher dividend. They have to declare a low rate of dividend. Earning means the profit which the company is earning. If the company is earning more profit, the company can declare a higher dividend. And if the company is not earning much, then they should go for a less dividend. Next is stability of earning. See, here we are talking about the earning more or less. But if there is a fluctuation in the earning, the company should not declare the higher dividend. For example, if in first year company is earning 50,000 profit, and in second year the company is earning 40,000. The third year company is again earning 50,000. In fourth year company is earning 60,000. So we can say there is a stability in earning. Company only 10,000 difference is there. Sometimes 10,000 up, sometimes 10,000 low. So there is a stability in the earning. In that case, company can declare a higher dividend because the company knows that next year also company is going to get a higher profit only, the same amount of profit only. So in that case, company can declare a higher dividend. But if there is a fluctuation in earning, the earning is not stable. For example, in first year company is getting 50,000. Next year company is getting 10,000. Third year company is getting loss of 40,000. In next year company is getting 60,000. So there is a fluctuation in the earning. So company can't declare a higher dividend. So here also company will not declare a higher dividend as the company knows that there is a fluctuation in the earning. So we should not declare a higher dividend. company can declare a higher dividend in the case when there is a stability of earning. There is a less fluctuation in the earning. But if they have a more, see here company knows 50,000 is a earning. So company can 50% of this company can declare. Because company knows in next year also if 50% is 20,000 means out of that 40,000 easily they can pay a 25,000 to the shareholder. Here 50,000 means 20,000 is a dividend. Means the company is giving 25,000 to the shareholder. It means if we talk about next year, then also company can give 20,000 out of this profit. Next year again 25, next year again 25, company can easily give. So here company can declare a higher dividend. But in that case here company not give 25,000 to the shareholder because they knows next year if they get a less earning they will not be able to pay that dividend. Next point is related to that only. See, every shareholder want there should be a stability in the dividend. The company should not do this thing that 1 year they are giving a higher dividend, next year they are giving a very less dividend. Shareholder will not satisfied with this. They want a stability in dividend. So here I am explaining you second point only. If there is a stability in earning, the company can declare a higher dividend. But if there is a fluctuation in the earning, the company can't declare a higher dividend. Now come to the next point, which is stability of dividend. As I told you, every shareholder want the dividend should be regular or stable, means the same amount or only higher they want, only highest dividend they want, the more dividend they want next year you may say. Stability in dividend means, for example, if a company is giving 15,000 dividend this year, first year the company is giving 15,000 dividend, next year the company should give 15,000 either or more than 15,000, say 16,000. They should give more than, not less than. Third year they should give more, either 16,000 or more than 16,000. Means every shareholder wants the company give dividend, stable dividend or the increase in the dividend only. They don't want any decrease in the dividend. See, if we give dividend like this, first year 15,000, next year profit is less, so we are giving 10,000. Next year profit is more or less, we are giving 8,000 only. In the next year we are getting more profit, then in that case we are giving 20,000 to the shareholder. This type of dividend the shareholder will not accept. They will not be satisfied with these kind of dividend. But if the company will be stable in giving the dividend, then only the shareholder will be satisfied. So the company should give, the manager should take a decision so that the manager can give a higher dividend or the same level of dividend to the shareholder. So there should be a stability of dividend. The manager should declare that percentage of dividend that he can consistently give to the shareholder. So these are the 3 points. Amount of earning, if more, then the we can declare a more dividend. If less, then accordingly less dividend only. Stability of earning, if there is a stability in earning, we can declare more dividend, and if there is no stability, then we should declare a less dividend. Stability of dividend, the manager should keep this in mind. They should declare a dividend which is stable year by year or should increase, not in a decrease. Next point, fourth point is growth opportunities. See, if a company have a more growth opportunities in the future, they should retain more from the profit so that they can invest in the future. But if they have a very less growth opportunities available in the near future, then they can declare a more dividend. In the case of if they have a growth opportunities in the near future, they should declare a less dividend and they should retain more money for the future. Next is cash flow position. That is the availability of cash. How much cash is available, the surplus of the cash. See, if cash is available in the business, they can declare a more dividend. And if the cash is not available in the business, they can't declare a more dividend. They have to declare a less dividend. Next is shareholders preference. See, there are different types of shareholders. One prefer more and stable income, and the other who prefer the more money should retain in for the future purpose. So we have to see the shareholders preference also. For example, if we have retired, old or poor shareholders, they expect a regular or stable dividend from the company. They want earning from the company. So we have to give dividend to the shareholder, because ultimately we have to satisfy to the shareholder only. On the other hand, if we have a rich shareholders, so they prefer to retain money, to retain more money, to invest more in the business, so that in future they get the capital gain. See, if we invest more money in the business, then there is a chance of growth in the business, and when the business grows, the ultimately will get the profit or will get the capital gain. Ultimately our capital or will also increase in the future. So some shareholder prefer, they want more dividend, and some shareholder wants the dividend should be declared on a regular basis. So we have to see the preference of shareholder, what the shareholder wants. Accordingly we'll declare the dividend. If we have a rich shareholder, we have a shareholder who prefer to invest more, then we should declare less dividend and retain more money. But if we have a shareholder like those who want a regular, who expect the regular and the stable dividend from the company, then we should declare a dividend to the shareholder, and we should keep a less amount for retained earning, as a retained earning. Next is taxation policy. Yes, the government's taxation policy also affect the decision related to dividend. See, as we all know, this current dividend taxation policy says that dividend is tax free in the hand of shareholder, and the company has to give a tax on the dividend which the company is going to declare for the shareholder. See, if the dividend taxation rate is higher, we should declare a less dividend, and if the dividend tax rate is less, then we can declare a more dividend also. As the dividend is tax free in the hand of shareholder, but the company has to pay a tax on dividend. In the hand of company, dividend is not a tax free. The companies pay a tax on the dividend which they are declaring for the shareholder. If the dividend taxation rate is higher, then we should declare a less dividend, so that the company should pay less tax to the government. And if the dividend taxation rate is less, then we can declare a more dividend. So this is a taxation policy. Next is stock market reaction. See, as we know, the declaration of dividend is directly related with the market price of the share. See, if the companies which declare the higher dividend, they have a more market price, the share price of that companies will increases in the market. So this also we have to see. See, ultimately our main motive is to maximize the wealth, maximize the increase the market price of share. So if we'll declare the higher dividend, then the market price of share will increase, and the companies, those who declare a less dividend, their market price is comparatively less. So this also we have to see, and we have to maintain a balance between the declaration of dividend, so that we're satisfied also, and and shareholder also satisfied, and the market price is also high, and we can retain more thing with us. Next is access to the capital market. Yes, if there is a easy access on capital market. Capital market, as you all know, capital market is a place where we can raise funds, where we can issue debentures and equities. See, if we have a easy access on the capital market, if the cash, the availability of finance is easily available in the market, in that case we can declare more dividend, because then we may not depend on the retained earning. We can easily raise funds through the capital market. If there is a easy access on the capital market, in that case the fund is easily available in the market, so we can easily raise fund from the market. In that case we can declare dividend, and we can keep less amount as a retained earning. But if the company is not in the position to raise fund from the capital market, in that case the company should keep more money as a retained earning, and they should declare a less dividend. Clear? Next 2 points are very much important. 10th point is legal constraints. Legal constraint means the company has to follow some legal rules and regulation also, which is given by the Company Act 2013. For example, it's necessary for the companies to maintain a reserve or provision for the depreciation or for any kind of liability which it's going to occur in the future. So out of that profit, we have to keep a fixed amount for the future upcoming liabilities. This is a legal constraint. So in that case, the company has to make some provision out of the profit, and then the company will declare a less amount, or after making the provision only the company can declare the dividend. So these are the legal constraints which bound the company to declare the dividend. For declaring the dividend or for distributing the amount as a dividend, we should keep this in mind, the legal constraint, how much fixed amount is given by the company to keep as a provision, and that is depends on the different companies, because some companies has a chance of more liabilities in the future, and some company has a less chance. So that depends how much legal constraints they have in their companies, and according to that they will declare the dividend. Last is contractual constraints. See, sometime when we borrow money from the outsider or from any lender, that lender may also constrain us. That lender can also restrict us for distributing the earning as a dividend. See, what the lender want? Lender want the fixed payment of interest as well as the repayment of the principal amount. So what the lender can do, they can put a restriction on the company for the declaration of dividend. They want that when the company pay this complete principal amount back to the lender, then only the company can declare a higher dividend. Otherwise, the company has to keep this money as a retained earning, and as soon as they pay to the debentures or the lenders from which we have taken the money. So these are the contractual contract. Under this, the lender can make a contract in which they can restrict the company for the payment of declaration of dividend, you may say. For the declaration of dividend, in that case the company can't declare the dividend until or unless they pay the complete amount of that lender. For example, if a lender has given a 50 lakh rupees to a company for 10 years, so that lender can make a contract and restrict the company not to declaring a higher dividend, or they can fix a rate also, more than this rate the company can't declare a dividend to the shareholder, and the company has to follow this restriction. The company has to follow this contract because they have taken money from the lender. So when they pay the complete money to the lender, then only they can declare the dividend to the shareholder. So this can also be possible. So these are the factors which affect the dividend decision. I hope the decision, investment decision, financing decision and the dividend decision is clear to you, and all the factors which I had explained.